Welcome to your energy forecast for the month of August, eclipse season, where I will tune into the energy and be sharing with you today, number one, the positive and the shadow aspects of this month and kind of what to expect. Number two, a really powerful exercise that you can use to quantum leap through this month, because this month there's a big emphasis of quantum leaping, timeline jumping. Number three, I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm going to be doing to quantum leap through this month. And number four, lastly, we'll pick a little card from my deck cards and get a nice little channeled message for the month. And hi, my name is Nami. I'm an intuitive energy healer and hypnotherapist who helps you shift your identity, raise your frequency, and align with your higher self. And no, I'm not an astrologer by any means, but I do feel and sense the intense energetic shifts that happen around specific astrological events, especially the really big ones like eclipse season, the moons, all that stuff. And I intuitively feel what's happening with the collective in the world. And if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I do a little channeled message or two. So thank you for being here, and we're just going to dive on in. So here are some positive aspects that I was picking up for this month the strongest. Number one that came up was reconstruction through remembrance. Number two, taking bold action as your higher self. That was a really exciting one. And number three, quantum leaping and skipping ahead, skipping timelines, collapsing timelines, all those merged together. So let's talk about number one, reconstruction through remembrance. In the last 6 months, or maybe in the last year, there's been this like awakening of consciousness. A lot of things are shifting externally and energetically. And when things shift energetically, we can see it in the physical world because everything is energy and everything is connected. And when things start to shift in our physical world in an uncomfortable way, or a way that is different than what we are used to, it starts to kind of create a little awakening. People start to wake up. And so there's this emphasis as we're moving into August of remembering who you are and what you are beyond your physical body, beyond your current identity as well, where you might find yourself in August asking questions like, who am I really? What is actually going on here? Why are these people in power? What even is power? What is a body? You're going to really start to kind of get curious about what's going on and start to ask questions more than you may have before. And if you're someone who's already been on the side of like knowing that things are different than what meets the eye, you're just going to come into a lot of downloads where you will fully remember what you have been in terms of past lives, in terms of figuring out or understanding the information that's coded within your genetics, of your power as a consciousness, as a conscious being that can manipulate energy through the mind, through the emotional state, through awareness. That's a whole thing. You're going to start to remember your power. And also for those of you who are energy healers or getting into the energetic space or the more spiritual space, if you want to call it that, you're going to start to understand your soul purpose. I guess you can call it that. Your dharma, your mission. It doesn't mean that this is the only mission that you have in this lifetime, but August, you're going to become very clear and receive the downloads for you to take action in the direction that is most aligned with whatever your mission is. And the universe and the energy that is happening on the planet right now through these astrological events and collectively, it's supporting that. It's supporting this awakening. It's supporting this remembrance of who we really are as consciousness, beyond the body, beyond the identity, beyond the limiting beliefs that we know, beyond societal standards and all that kind of stuff. And with this remembrance, naturally, we're going to have to reconstruct who we are. And also, when you shift your mind, it impacts your entire body. Your biology literally changes when you shift your mind. When you think positive thoughts, it creates chemical reactions in your body. It sends out chemicals within the body to heal the body, to make things better. And not only does it send out chemicals, it's just energy. And when you feel better inside yourself, you begin to attract more. And that's kind of what we're going to be coming into even more and more and more as our life progresses into the future. But very much in August, there's this reconstruction happening, getting clear on your goals, stepping into the higher version of yourself, which is what's coming up next in terms of taking bold action. Super excited. And also feel free to let me know in the comments if you've personally felt any like new energy or downloads coming in where you feel like you're remembering something that's not part of this lifetime and that you're feeling an emotional energy that's almost kind of awakening in you that feels different than who you've been as we're moving into August, because that feeling is going to be amplified in August. So next, there's an emphasis of taking bold action as your higher self in the month of August. As we're like entering into eclipse season, I think the eclipse is on the 16th, but between now and the 16th, you are going to feel like a lot of emotional energy coming up to the surface to release. If you start to feel like you're going backwards, it is simply because all the things in which you need to shift and release consciously and subconsciously are going to come to the surface, to come up and to come out, and for you to shed. But simultaneously, there's these new downloads that are coming in that help you to kind of anchor in to who you are becoming and who you're wanting to become and who you get to choose to become as your higher self. And so as we're moving into this month of taking bold action as your higher self, a question you can ask yourself is, who am I as my higher self? Who do I want to be as my higher self? What am I doing as my higher self? Who do I want to become that is beyond my current identity? These questions will actually kind of naturally lead into the exercise that we have in a bit, but you ask yourself those questions because those are going to be coming up. Because, when we're in the space as well of like deep transformation, a lot of the times, especially during like our healing journeys where we're trying to heal some things from the past, a lot of people have a tendency to focus on the negative from a negative perspective and dig into it and repeat it in their mind and anchor it in even deeper and kind of get stuck there in that space of thinking into the past and the negative and trying to figure oneself out with the identity of what's happened to them in the past. So it's very important to start to create the higher version of yourself that exists as a different version of you, so different that it pulls you out of the limitations of your past. So instead of getting stuck in the negative emotions that are likely to come up before eclipse season and maybe even after eclipse season, it lasts for, the effects of it last for 6 months. So we'll still be feeling it by the end of the year. But obviously it's most potent right now. But instead of getting lost in those negative thoughts and emotions by immersing yourself in it and trying to figure it out within it, I'd like you to just witness those emotions that come up and those thoughts that come up and recognize that those are the identity of your old self. Your emotions are just energy. Your thoughts are just energy as well. Your thoughts are really just programming, and the emotions are a response to your thoughts, right? They're not who you are, and you can separate yourself from them and become aware that, oh, this emotion, these memories, this thought process is an old version of me, and it is on its way out. Do what you need to do to process the heavy emotions, to regulate your nervous system as you move through these emotions, and then pivot your mind, actively, consciously pivot your mind to then focus on the higher version of yourself. What would they think? How would they feel? If anything, they just feel a little more relaxed. They give themselves a break if they felt a little bit negative. You don't manifest in a perfectly aligned frequency state. We all experience anxiety and fear when we are expanding. It's a part of the process. So I guess also what's coming up here, if you feel like you have to be perfect in order to shift, in order to have a higher vibration, in order to manifest things into your life, you don't. But you do have to have a vision to move forward and the energy of hope that beats the energy of fear that you have. The fear can go in the back seat. You might still feel it, but it doesn't have to come along with you. Okay? And that being said, that is the space where you are going to take bold action as the higher version of yourself. Ask yourself, what would my higher self be doing right now to get from point A to point B? And think of an action that puts you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and you're going to want to take that. You're going to want to put yourself in uncomfortable situations that you know is going to elevate you, is going to move you out of your current comfort zone. What is that? Let me know in the comments. It's only through getting uncomfortable and making a change, because changes are uncomfortable, especially if you're very comfortable in your old routine and your old identity, even if it's an uncomfortable identity and routine, we get comfortable there. That becomes our program, right? And so breaking free from that, it doesn't feel very comfortable, and that's okay. It's not supposed to. So do the thing that you know will lead you to success or lead you in the direction of your higher self, whatever that is, knowing that's a little outside your comfort zone, and do it. Take a bold risk. Maybe it's really outside your comfort zone. Go big. No matter what, it's going to be a positive. You'll either learn something from it and be further ahead than you were before, or it'll pave the path to the future in a way that's just exponential, and you'll just collapse a whole bunch of timelines at once and quantum leap to high heck. That being said, that's when we're easing into quantum leaping and skipping ahead, timelines collapsing literally in my mind when I look at the month of August, because when I channel and I tune into timelines, sometimes I see a calendar, then I see the dates and everything, and I see visuals that kind of correspond with that. I literally see the month almost cutting in half. Like if you were to look at a calendar and it's a paper with how many ever days on it, like 30, 31, whatever. and just seeing it shortened to like 15 days, but all the numbers are jumbled. There is something that's happening. This eclipse season just feels much stronger than the previous ones. I don't know if it's just because I'm more sensitive to energy these days, or collectively everyone's becoming more sensitive to energy these days. Time is distorting, but something is happening in August where you're going to make exponential leaps on a physical level. And this is likely because you've probably been doing a lot of the internal work to shift who you are inside, to heal, to better yourself, not so that you can become someone for other people on the outside. There's also this emphasis on stepping into your authenticity, which is basically stepping into the higher version of yourself. But you're no longer in this space where you're trying to become someone for someone else. That's old news, right? You're in a space now where you're becoming someone for yourself. And you may have been in this space for like the last 2 years, last 5 years. But this year, whatever it is with the energy, things, everything that you've done to better yourself, to shift your mind, to clear your energy, to learn, to become better, it's compounding all into one. Okay? Your lucky era is coming. And you may have already been seeing like certain manifestations showing up in your life, certain synchronicities showing up in your life where it feels like magic, because life is magic when you start to understand energy and the mind and how you can actually really create your reality through your thoughts and your emotions and your intention alone. You're extremely powerful right now. And I'm really excited for everyone who's moving into this space, because also if you're someone who's been working on yourself, right? We don't work on ourselves just for ourselves and that's it. When we do the work on ourselves, we begin to have more compassion for ourselves. And then we also just naturally have more compassion for others because we learn why we are the way we are. And then we understand why other people are kind of the way they are. And then we start to come into this evolution that we are all from the same thing, as in energy. And then it almost becomes like a mission for a lot of people to just bring people together. It's for them to realize that you don't have to live in the darkness. So you're also going to be stepping into a leadership role. For those of you who resonate with this, not everyone's going to resonate with this, but a lot of you are stepping into a leadership role. A lot of you are amping up the ante. Is that the right phrase? A lot of you are also calling in finances because you no longer have the limiting beliefs around finances that having a lot of money makes you a bad person, or that you have to do something negative to get money, or that the people on top are rich and the rich people are terrible. Like, you've cleared out a lot of those beliefs around finances, because I think you know that when you come into financial abundance, what you can do for it for yourself, because you deserve to have wonderful things in life, but what you can do with it for yourself and for others to literally make a change in the world. Like, why wouldn't you want a lot of money so that you can help others, so that you can share it, so that you can pull it out, like pour it out, pour it out, pour it out, so that you can let more in, let more in, let more in. And you can be more creative, and you can be more safe within your environment, and you can enjoy the life that you have. Wealth consciousness is something that you're activating right now. And if it's not, I recommend you to look into it. Use this as a little activation or something, because there is this importance around you stepping into your leadership. And in order to step into your leadership and affect and support and hold space for the amount of people that you want to, you need the funds to be able to do that. And money is just an energetic idea. And when you can use it to your advantage to support the world, and you turn the tap on to the funds, to the wealth frequency, the amount of good you can do, oof. Let me know if you're resonating with that in the comments, because that's something that's been coming in really, really strong for me. The concept of money is completely shifting, and the concept of existing in this world is shifting as well. You'll start to see a lot of new things happening in August. Like, tech will seem like it's suddenly shifted and upgraded yet again. People will be speaking ideas that you might not have heard, or that might also ruffle some feathers because it's so different and challenges the idea of the society that we've been living in for a while. There's going to be trailblazers. You're going to see it popping up in August. And with that, you'll also start to see clashing. There's a lot of clashing. There's going to be some egos coming up as well. But that leads us actually into what did I call it? The shadow aspects of the month. All right, so let's get into the shadow aspects of the month that I picked up. And by the way, when I say shadow aspects, I'm not talking about something that's bad or evil. I don't really do like the whole good and bad, evil thing or whatever, but there are aspects that can be a bit lower vibrational depending what energy you're in. But regardless, we may see some of this stuff, whether we're in a higher vibration or not. Okay, so the three things that I got for the shadow aspects. Triggers around ego, needing external validation, self-doubt, all that was kind of contained together. Physical manifestations in a negative way. Our manifestations are going to speed up, but we'll get into that. And misplaced rage. So those are the things that were coming up as the main strongest points for the shadow aspects of this month. So triggers around ego. Whenever there's like a shifting or a raising of frequency collectively, planetarily, whatever, whenever we evolve, even in our own lives, it doesn't come without the shadow coming up and dissolving and releasing. Some people can get stuck in the shadow. Some people can respond and react with the shadow. And the shadow is really like, as a lot of people are gaining their confidence to speak up, to be a trailblazer, to go ahead and move forward into their future and higher self, to pave a new path for the future ahead, there can be this essence of ego, of I am better than you. You are less than me. A lack of compassion and maybe a lack of understanding. And this doesn't mean that you have to put yourself beneath anyone or that it has to take away from your truth and your perspective. But there is like an essence here around being able to show up compassionately in spaces that you don't agree with, especially if you're someone who's stepping into a leadership role. You're going to see a lot of egos coming up to the surface, and you might witness your own kind of triggers as well. This isn't a bad thing. If you find yourself triggered in the month of August as you're moving into this more confident space and you find yourself lashing out or reacting in a certain way that you don't really like, allow yourself to just see that as a reflection of something that you need to sit with, hold space for. Become aware of how you share your perspective. Is it inclusive, or is it kind of coming from a selfish space? It's okay if it is. Just look at it and think of ways in which you can sit with that and revise that so that your message is coming across to support what you're wanting to support and not shutting out people that you actually don't want to shut out. Okay, I hope that's making a bit of sense. Also, yeah, with this ego as well, there's like this need of external validation. So if you find yourself feeling like you need to be validated from other people while also simultaneous being like, I don't need anyone or anything, that's part of the shadow aspect. Also, self-doubt. Whenever we are in a quantum leap, you will always feel that essence of anxiety or fear before we shift. That is your old identity being like, oh my God. But actually, it's our paradigm. We have a mental paradigm. We can call it our mental identity of all the programs that we've existed in that represent who we currently are. And our program literally runs on its own like mechanism, right? And it's on a, what is it called? Cybernetic mechanism. So that, I don't know if mechanism is the right word, but cybernetic program. And so if we deviate from our mental program, let's say our normal mental program is that we wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, we take a cold shower, but then we eat a bunch of junk food for breakfast or something like that. And then you decide that you want to start eating healthy and you change the program. The first couple days, you're going to feel good when you try to shift and you're like, yeah, I'm eating healthy. But at a certain point, you'll start to feel that urge to move back to eat the junk. That's your cybernetic loop kicking in, your mechanism kicking in to bring you back to the set point, because that's what a cybernetic loop does. It brings you back to the set point automatically. And when you start to move against that, it feels really uncomfortable. It feels really anxious. It feels fearful because things are changing. Your brain is sending a signal to your body that alert, alert, things are changing. This could be unsafe. Let's bring it back to our old program. That's why you feel fear and anxiety. It's a natural part of evolving. But this can come with self-doubt, with self-criticism, being a little bit of a perfectionist right now. Just notice that when it comes up and remind yourself, oh, this is part of me moving forward. This might happen in August. So let me make a note of that and remind myself that this isn't my fault. I'm not going backwards. All I need to do is continue to consistently move in the direction of my higher self. And when you do that, you make a new program in your mind that becomes your new normal. You keep with that long enough, your old program dissolves and you anchor the new program in. The next one is physical manifestations, like negative physical manifestations. And mostly what was coming up was like body stuff and noticing that when you have a negative thought, it'll play out faster. Like if you think, oh, my partner is going to start an argument when I get home, you get home and your partner is going to start an argument. You are actually in a very powerful state, whether you're in a negative space or a positive space right now. So be aware of your mind, what you're thinking, how negatively you might be thinking. Also, when our energy shifts and rises and our frequency rises, our bodies can release old energy, and that can also reactivate some old physical health issues. So if you find yourself in your body feeling like a little weird, your gut's doing a thing, you might already be feeling it right now. Just know that your energy is purging old stuff, but it can feel really uncomfortable. And be careful of how you think about that, because you can make it into a worse problem than it actually is. It just wants to come up and come out. If you focus on it like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. Oh my gosh, something is wrong with me. You'll end up creating a bigger problem than there actually is. So just allow yourself to breathe. Your body has all the natural mechanisms to heal itself. When you allow yourself to just let go of the fear and let go of the control and just breathe, regulate your nervous system, bring yourself back to a grounded space, your body will just start to heal. I would know because I had 17-year-long chronic health issues that I healed in, I don't know, it was like 4 months using energy healing work and hypnotherapy. Your body can heal itself. And the last one, misplaced rage, is coming up. So you may find yourself, especially at the beginning of August, and I'm also seeing like the latter part of August as well, where there's going to be a lot of fiery, angry energy, and it's going to be projected outside in areas that you have no control over, or that people have no control over. You may find yourself getting angry and feeling rage coming up. Honestly, a lot of that rage is coming up from generational trauma that wants to come up and come out. But there's ways to process that without targeting the person that you are angry at. Because when we do that, all we do is rile ourselves up, stress ourselves out, bring a lot of stress hormones and chemicals into our body, and deteriorate our body when we're in a state of anger long term. That's why when we identify with the emotion of anger as a personality trait, a lot of people have health issues when that happens. So how can you allow yourself to feel the anger and the rage when it comes up, to feel it at its fullest, process it, use it to think of where you want to create change in the world, turn it into passion. And then from that passion, you can turn it into power, and then funnel that energy into your life, into the areas of your life in the world and the communities that you want to see grow or do better or evolve. Because when we take our attention away from the negative and put it into what we can control, that's when we take our power back. That's where manifestation can be wildly powerful in ways that you might not even be aware of. I might not even be aware of fully. So allow yourself to process your rage instead of reacting from it and identifying with it as a source of power. All right, now let's get into the exercise that I want you to do so that you can quantum leap through this month. Grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be in my life, in the world? The higher version of yourself, who are they? Write down what this version of you does, where they live, what they look like, what clothes they wear. But most importantly, write down how they feel, what they think, what's their internal dialogue, how are they thinking and feeling about themselves. Write it all down and allow yourself to think beyond your current identity. If you could have anything in the world and be doing anything in the world without there being oh, I'd like that, but what would that be? All right. We're not doing the but and just allow yourself to dream as if you were a kid and you had no limitations, and you can just write it all down. Write it all down. Next, I want you to ask yourself, in what ways am I currently showing up in my life that are not in alignment with this higher version of me that you wrote down? You can write this down on the other side of the paper or just get a separate paper for it. But ask yourself, in what ways am I limiting myself, disempowering myself, stopping myself from becoming the best version of myself? How am I holding myself back through my actions and my thoughts? And when you really see that and understand that, what that is what's keeping you from becoming your higher self. The only difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is their mindset, their mental beliefs about themselves. Now that you have your two lists, your higher self list and what you need to change, I want you to set a goal that you want to achieve by the end of this month, something that's a little outside of your comfort zone, something that your higher self has already achieved. This could be raising your prices and attracting 20 new clients. This could be making 2 times the amount that you made last month. This could be having your ideal healthy body weight that you don't currently have. Whatever it is, as long as it's a little outside of your comfort zone. Once you get your goal down, I want you to then take 3 aligned actions. These are the 3 aligned actions. Number 1, you're going to take an action that leads you towards achieving your goal by the end of the month. Whether you reach that goal at the end of the month or not doesn't matter. You just want to take that goal to move in that direction. For example, let's say that you want to attract high ticket clients. What do you need to do to attract high ticket clients? First, you probably need to have an offer, and then you might need to raise your prices. But what is the easiest way to reach people? Social media. Maybe the action you take is to come up with new social media post ideas and post on one social media platform 4 times a week for the whole month of August. Something authentic, something valuable, something vulnerable. Not because you need to post 4 times a week on social media to become successful or to reach your goal, but just so you can get used to the process of creating ideas for social media content and taking action on those ideas so that the next month it'll feel like second nature and you won't be overanalyzing yourself or get into freeze state. You'll have broken through that. Now, before you take this action, whatever it is, I want you to spend like 5 minutes or maybe even 1 minute just putting yourself in the visualization and emotion of having your goal finished already. What does that feel like to have achieved your goal? What does that look like? And be in that. Think of how all these new clients are so excited to book with you. Think of all the results that they get at the end of your high ticket, whatever it is that you're offering. Think of how proud you are of yourself that you created something of such value that people love and can create change in their life. I don't know, get nice and cozy and relaxed in it, and then take your action. The 2 last actions that I want you to take, simple, just to keep it easy. We don't want to overwhelm you. I want you to think of some regular habit that your higher self has or would do that you don't already do. For example, maybe they have a chamomile tea in the morning as they look out the window and smell the tea and relax into themselves while playing some lovely music before checking their phone so that they can get grounded for the day and present. I don't know. Maybe they take a cold shower in the morning. Maybe they do breath work in the morning. Maybe they do energy healing work or something in the morning. I don't know. Maybe they look at themselves in the mirror and they tell themselves that they love themselves until they actually feel it in their bones and their energy. Then they go off for their day. Maybe that's what they do. I want you to do that. 2 things that your higher self would already do. And I want you to do it not as like a checklist, like, okay, I did this thing that my higher self would do, but do it as if you are your higher self. Imagine you had an acting role as an actor, whatever, and you had to embody the character of your higher self. How would you feel for that to be you? Like, ooh, yes, I get to enjoy this tea. Ooh, yes, I love this morning shower because this is just what I do. And do it in the morning because that will set your tone for the entire rest of the day. Believe me, it's going to help. And just to give you some ideas, this is what I'm going to do in the month of August to quantum leap according to this exercise. So I already have my goal, and my goal is to have 5 new people sign up for my 4-week intensive program, which is currently called Identity and Energy Reset, at the new price. Starting August 1st, I am raising my prices on my one-on-one sessions and on my 4-week journey. That being said, I am moving into the space where I'll be creating a community where people can join for free or under a low ticket membership fee, depending on what you want out of the community. And I'll be doing a lot more events and workshops with like group energy healing hypnotherapy sessions. And also I'll be teaching. I'll be teaching energy healing in the way that I teach it, in the way that I've learned, and the way that's come naturally for me, as well as understanding the subconscious and conscious mind. There's a lot of fun stuff coming in, but I'll have a space for that. And these are going to be the 3 aligned actions that I'm going to take. Number 1, I'll be reading 1 chapter of a book that supports the knowledge that I have to offer to myself and for others, whether it's around energy healing, whether it's around the subconscious and conscious mind, whether it's around hypnotherapy, whether it's around spiritual, whatever it is, I'm going to be reading 1 chapter every day of a book. I'm also going to be doing a lot more talking head videos like this, maybe 2 a week, 3 a week, just so I can get comfortable with like just talking to the camera with bullet points instead of like writing out an entire script, just like I am doing in this video. I'll be sharing my stories, I'll be sharing my perspectives, I'll be sharing some teachings and activities and things that you can do to improve your life. This is also going to help me prepare for when I speak in front of thousands and thousands of people on stage, because that is what I am also planning to do as well. There's a lot of things that are in the works right now. I'm so excited. Things are coming in. But anyway, I'm going to keep that on the low. Action step number 2, I recorded my own specific self-hypnosis that aligns me with my higher self. And I'll be listening to that every morning and every night. And action 3, you see this tank over here? This tank is my eco tank. It has shrimp in it and they're all pregnant. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, I love it. It relaxes me, but I haven't like looked in there for an extended period of time for like the last, I don't know. I just don't look in there as often as I would like to. And so one of my actions that I'm going to take is to sit there at night. I'm probably going to do it after I film this video and just stare into it and relax. It gets me really present. It reminds me of when I was a kid because I was a little nature freak. And I'll just imagine that I'm staring at my eco tank as if I am in my dream house or dream apartment, like it's already done, because that thing regulates my nervous system. Helps it anyway. I love it. And just to add some other things that I'll be doing, I'll finally create a newsletter so I can share more with you all that could be supportive for your healing around energy or hypnotherapy, around the mind, maybe some channeled messages in there. Also, when I open up events or workshops or when I have discounts, you can sign up to the newsletter now, but there's nothing active yet. But there will be in August. This system that I just mentioned to you, it's actually how I manifested getting monetized on YouTube in 8 days when my goal was to get monetized by the end of June. So you can collapse timelines with the system. And remember, we're not doing this from a space of desperation. We're doing it from a space of it already being done, or at least relaxed or grounding ourselves. This isn't like, I need it, I want it. It's like, I'm doing this because I know that I already have it. And no matter what happens, only good things are going to happen out of this. That's the energy we're doing it from. And lastly, y'all, let's pull a card from my little DIY deck and channel a message through what we get. So let's see what we get here. I made these myself. I don't use them very often, but it's nice to have a little message here and there for when you're in a little bit of a limbo state. But let's see what we get for August. What was that? Stable home. All right. Ooh, okay. So the message that's coming through with this already, if you're feeling like you're a little bit like you're floating, like you don't have the foundation that you're wanting, this is coming through towards the middle and the end of, oh my God, I feel emotional, August. You're going to finally feel like you're anchored in your body. And even if physically you don't have a technically stable home, you're going to feel stable inside of yourself. You're going to know that things feel okay now. And by the way, here, let me see so you can see it. So just know that when you create that environment inside of yourself, when you kind of anchor into this higher version of yourself as well, and know that everything is going to be okay, you start to create that home inside yourself. But a lot of you are also physically going to manifest your stable home. A lot of you are also coming into abundance financially, where you can, in fact, purchase the place that you want to purchase, or at least rent the place that you want to rent, or choose a country that you want to live in, because there's going to be an explosion for a lot of you. And see if this resonates with you, right? Because you'll know if it's for you. There's going to be an explosion of finances. I don't know if any of you are launching something this month, or if you're expecting an opportunity to come in, but something is going to explode for you in a positive way between now and the end of the month. Okay, at the end of August. I know I'm posting this a couple days early, but anyway, that is the message. All right, expect stable home energy, or literally physically, this month. Let's see what else we got. Anything else? Nope, that was it. Anyway, let me know, guys, if you enjoyed this video. And I appreciate you if you stayed all the way to the end. It's a long one, but it's the forecast for the month of August, so it would be a long one. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you want to see more of these. And also feel free to share with me what you want to see in general moving forward. If you want to hear me talk on something specific, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. I love you, appreciate you. And feel free to check out one of these videos over here if you enjoyed this one.